Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Yes, I heard you, Spider, I heard you. You actually kind of freaked me out a little bit when I loaded the game, and then all of a sudden, psst, I hear in the background. That was actually a pretty good impression of a spider, was it not? Psst. Hey, I've played this game far too long. But yeah, welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Speaking of playing a game for far too long, we are on episode 543. That is a long time indeed. Today is Thursday. I have Tuesday written down in my notes, but I know for a fact that this episode will be going up on a Thursday, December 24th, 2015, Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve indeed. So happy Christmas Eve. And eventual Merry Christmas on the following day from your old friend Kurt J. Mac. We are continuing here in Farlands or Bust and continuing to raise money for Child's Play charity at farlandsorbust.com. Hold on. Excuse me. That's much better now. I'm feeling far more in tune with my voice. Radio voice. But, yeah, we're raising money, farlandsorbust.com for Child's Play charity, getting toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. Last episode, I unveiled the Kurt J. Tat initiative. Not to be confused with the Jason Statham initiative. The Kurt J. Tat initiative is, by the end of the year, before 2016 begins, let's say the last time zone on Earth, before the international dateline changes over to 2016, if we can raise $15,000, that's 25% of the way to our $60,000 goal, before the new year, I will get a Minecraft-themed tattoo in the year 2016. I'm not saying right away, I'm not saying the following week, it could be February, March even, but I will get a Minecraft-themed tattoo. Thinking of the block, the grass block that for the longest time was pretty much the Minecraft logo, just without the text. I'm not going to have the text Minecraft on it, but just the block, a piece of art. Some people were saying, well, why not the floating block of ice? True, that's a little bit too specific to me. I feel like I would have to explain that for the rest of my life a little bit more in detail, as opposed to, oh, that's a Minecraft thing that somebody might recognize. Yes, because Minecraft changed my life, because I started doing this YouTube thing that then became my job, that hopefully is still my job in the future years when I'm explaining this tattoo to people. So that's why I'm thinking just something a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A broad stroke of the Minecraft influence in my life, and not a specific reference to a specific moment in this specific series of my specific YouTube channel. But, yeah, so if we raise and reach, $15,000, that doth declare will be met, and I will doth do that. Indeed. And we are at right now, we are at somewhere where my throat is like, no commentary is happening today. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Hold on. I'm in the ocean here, but let me grab a sip of water. All right. Not even now it's bless America. It's the opposite problem now. All right. La 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 la. Tip of the tongue, top of the teeth. All right, I think we're ready to continue now. Okay, so we're at now exactly $13,000 at farlandsorbust.com raised for Child's Play charity this season. Everybody, well, not everybody, but most people seem to be inspired and interested in achieving this new goal. Got some very generous donations, a lot of new questions to be answered in these upcoming episodes as well. But yeah, we are at 13,000, so that just means you've got a little bit more than a week to raise just $2,000. That's simple. That is so simple. We raised that much in like a 5-minute span during the Minecraft marathon, did we not? But yeah, just $2,000, and we will be at $15,000 and a quarter of the way to our $60,000 goal. raised for Child's Play charity. And any amount counts. Any amount helps. Like I said, to get these toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. Even a $1 donation, that could be used to, buy a game or an app on an iPad that the hospital has that they allow kids to use while they're there, while they're sick, while they're getting treatment or whatever. Any amount counts, and the more we get in, the sooner we'll reach this goal. So yeah, that's good times. I do appreciate all the donations. We got some generous donations without questions, but generous donations from Gemini563, Sir Woof, and Carmen, actually, has a question, but Carmen... Oh no, actually no question from Carmen, but Carmen is the one who actually got us, did little maths, did some math, and got us to the exact $13,000.00. Carmen basically just said, supporting the Kurt J. Dat initiative. Hoping to welcome you to the wonderful world of tattoo art. I also wanted to recommend vitamin E oil for healing after day 2 or 3. Well, we're not quite at that place yet. Like, I haven't even picked out the tattoo or where it's going or the tattoo place, the parlor, or artist. So we'll take things one step at a time. But I know there is vastly different and very specific recommendations from tattoo artists and XYZ about certain types of lotions and healing things, certain remedies that supposedly are supposed to help. Turns out are like, no, don't do that. That's going to make it fade or blotch or whatever, or this, that, or the other. So I'll be, as an obsessive-compulsive consumer of all things, you can count on me to obsess and compulse over the pre, during, and after of getting a tattoo for the first time. And that's another thing. This will be my first tattoo. A lot of people are saying, oh, the more you raise, the bigger the tattoo, or maybe just start the sleeve, the Kurt J. Mac sleeve that you've always wanted. Well, I think perhaps it's a good idea to start small. For all I know, I could get the tattoo and be like, nope, that sucked. That's not for me ever again. So I don't want to start a giant sleeve and then be like, nope, I'm done. Let's not finish that. So yeah, that's why I feel like this is a good first tattoo. It means something. So yeah, we'll go forth with that. But yeah, I appreciate all the enthusiasm. I figured this was kind of, some people are anti-tattoo, or perhaps aren't down with the inking of the skin, and have expressed their concerns therefore, and that's all right. That's okay. I understand that. You can still donate to Child's Play charity. I still encourage you to do so, regardless of whether or not it's the Kurt J. Tat initiative or not. Like I said, I was eventually probably going to get a tattoo anyway. This is just a little bit of a way to expedite and convince the process for myself from you guys. So it's really, it's not something that I'm like, oh no, I don't want to get a tattoo, but if you guys do it, I'll have to get one. No, it's not like that. It's not anything like the Hot Pepper Challenge or any sort of charity marathon goals like that. This is a little fun initiative. These initiatives, just like before, I was eventually planning on buzz cutting my head, but then I invented the Jason Statham initiative to be like, all right, I gotta do it, and I'll make a video on it. And I did it, and I had the buzzed head actually up until about a month ago, where I'm now allowing things to, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of a funny word. I'm allowing the follicles to resprout. I was trying to think of like an agricultural term. It's harvest season. No, I suppose harvest season would be the buzz cut, but, oh man. So yeah, I think that wraps that up. Farlandsofbus.com. Keep donating. I appreciate it. Oh, I guess another Child's Play charity news. Not really too much of an effect on you guys at all, but my contact at Child's Play charity, Jamie, who helped even way back from the beginning when I was setting up the charity for Farlands or Bust, helped me set up back when it was like the chip-in widget. Remember that? And then when they made the transition to their own donation tracker widget thing, walked me through that. Met her a couple times at the PAX conventions. Just overall extremely helpful. She did a lot with the organizing of the community stuff. and doing a lot for Child's Play charity. Also worked for Penny Arcade and did a lot with the PAX stuff. But she, yesterday I think it was, announced that she will be leaving her position at Child's Play charity and at Penny Arcade for other ventures and adventures indeed. It was, it was nothing bad or anything like that, but it's just she's been there for... Well, she's been there longer than I've been doing YouTube. I think she was there when I started the Child's Play charity thing, so well over 5 years, at least, I think. And I think she was actually one of the first full-time employees of Child's Play charity, of which they only have like 3 now, including her, so it's not like they have a big overhead. But yeah, I think she was kind of one of the first people to really be dedicated to the Child's Play charity. And really, it's grown exponentially since then. So yeah, she will be leaving. She has nothing, I don't think, anything specific, or at least she hasn't said anything specific planned for her future. But yeah, all is cool, and the best of luck to Jamie and her pet corgi, Ranger, or Sir Ranger Danger, I think is what his name is, that she posts a lot of pictures on Twitter of, so cool stuff indeed. It's all good news all around, so let's go to sleep and continue with the good news. Oh, really good news I got for you in the morning. And a good newsness. Good news, Wolfie! I saved 15% of my car insurance by switching to... No. Yesterday, in the last episode, I mentioned how SpaceX... We got some space news. SpaceX was going to launch the upgraded version of their Falcon 9 rocket, launching, I think 9 satellites as the payload, but then also attempting to land the first stage of that rocket back at Cape Canaveral, Florida. Pretty much the launch site, not the launch pad itself, but, about a quarter of a mile from the launch pad, which was crazy. It hadn't happened yet. It was happening that evening. I was recording on Monday, so I didn't have the updated news. Snarky yellow text popped in later to tell you the good news. But I was watching that live, and I've got to tell you, I have not been so nervous for a rocket launch since it was, manned rocket launches, crewed rocket launches of the space shuttle, when there were 7 human beings atop the thing. Just the whole countdown is a very anxiety-causing system that they've worked in there with their launches, but the whole countdown, thinking the last launch of the Falcon 9 from SpaceX, unfortunately ended in a loss of the rocket and the payload, which was the Dragon capsule headed for the ISS. They had a pretty much at while the first stage, was still in the atmosphere and still accelerating, it broke apart due to a faulty strut that was holding like a helium tank or something that caused a rupture, and everything went out the window there, unfortunately, which was the first loss of a Dragon capsule at launch. But that was a blow. I suppose it wasn't totally. There's always a possibility, so I think they had that in the back of their minds, but it was a bit of a blow. Of course, out of the woodwork came all the folks who would try to tear down and decry the commercial spaceflight programs. But to bounce back with a brand new rocket, pretty much an upgraded version of their rocket that had never been flown before, and then say, oh, we're also, by the way, going to be landing for the first time in history, an orbital launch. First stage turns around after deploying the second stage and comes back and lands on land vertically to be reused later. Absolutely insane, and they did it, and they totally did it. It was very nerve-wracking, and it was the webcasts being as this wasn't a NASA mission, it wasn't being carried by NASA TV or anything. It was just being carried by the SpaceX broadcasting TV. SpaceX.com/webcast, I think, is where they do it. There's a lot going on. So you had first stage, MECO shut down and separation of the second stage, so that the satellites would be boosted into orbit. Now the first stage is doing its. What is wrong with my voice today? All right, let's try again. And then the first stage has its re-entry boost burn and all this crazy stuff. So we're watching like two things at once, making sure the satellites get in the proper orbit, but then we're also concerned and thinking about the landing. And they cut to it just in time, and it's just, it's one of those things I'm like, even if they get close, the previous two attempts at landing on the barge got close, but failed to, stick the landing, I suppose you could say. Even if they got close, that would be pretty cool. And they'd already it was already just written off to them. They were just going to ditch the rocket anyway, so this is just a test to be bonus. And they stuck the landing as if it's something they've been doing all along. And it was really cool because they have all the SpaceX employees in their mission control, which I think is in California, in their mission control. Or is it in Texas? I honestly don't remember. They were all there, and huge cheer and yelling from the crowd and applause and hugs and everything like that. You'd think we'd landed on the moon again. Well, almost. And it's just pretty crazy that it happened, and it worked. I suppose as a note, they're not actually going to be reusing this rocket. That's the eventual plan. You save the first stage, you can refurbish it and reuse the engines, which are really expensive things, which are just normally, like I said, ditched in the ocean. You can reuse the engines, you can reuse the whole first stage, pretty much, and save a whole ton of money, both reducing the cost of launches and also, which would help further fund other launches and SpaceX's eventual goal of getting to Mars with or without, NASA is I think what Elon Musk is saying, is that, he wants to be able to use what he's doing now to get to Mars, which is crazy awesome as well. And so that worked. I was very skeptical. I mean, I gotta stop being skeptical. I was skeptical of the Curiosity landing as well, because there were so many moving parts there. It had to deploy the chute. It had to do the sky crane crazy thing where it had to slow down with the rockets and then gently let go and sever the cables. And, it all had to happen like this. And it had to land on its wheels. And the wheels had to, it was just like, I'm like, that'll be a miracle if that works. And it worked. So yeah, everything worked. But yeah, they're not going to be reusing this rocket because, being the first rocket that they've returned, they want to actually basically tear it apart and really inspect each and every individual part to see how it weathered the launch and then re-entry and then landing, if there's any damage or anything, adjustments they can make to durability. To see. So yeah, this first rocket is not going to be reused, but that's the plan. That's the plan for the future. And wow, that's pretty crazy. And it was pretty crazy to be watching it live. It was a good time to be had indeed. I certainly hope you were able to watch live as well, because it was woo. it was a hoot. I say. I think the next thing that I'm skeptical and very nervous about is the James Webb Space Telescope, which is billed as the replacement of Hubble. It's a space telescope, obviously. It's got to go into outer space. But it's comprised, I think it has nine main mirrors that are all shaped like octagons. So they all are like stacked together and then they unfurl. It uses more, I think it's based in like the infrared wavelengths, as opposed to Hubble has infrared stuff, but it's mostly an optical telescope. It's got that. It's got the big old sunshade, which is this multi-layered fabric thing that protects it from the sun, so you don't get the interference of the heat infrared from the sun. It's got to launch out to, I think it's going to Lagrange point out beyond the moon, so that it's in a steady orbit, and it's not orbiting around the Earth, so it's always able to just point wherever the heck it wants to. That one they just selected the Ariane 9 to be its launch platform, but that is a hugely... Telescopes are very delicate. There's a lot of moving parts there. It's already years and billions, I think, of dollars over budget and past its due date. It's kind of a little bit of a sore topic to talk amongst fans of spaceflight and stuff, because some people are all for it. Yeah, unlocking, we'll be able to, like, see the farthest we've ever seen in the universe, and I'm all for that as well, and might even be able to, like, image the more detail, the surface of exoplanets and stuff, although I don't know that that's really what James Webb is going to be doing, but, you better age the age of the universe and blah, 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 blah. But all of its delays and overruns of its budget are eating into budgets for other programs, and so it's a little bit of a sore point. But yeah, that's kind of the next one that I'm going to be kind of like, ugh. Let's fingers crossed for that one. But the Ariane 5 has been an incredibly reliable launch platform from ESA, and I think that's a French launch platform, I do believe. Huge rocket. But yeah, the whole thing with SpaceX got me kind of really excited. I'm like, oh, I got to start looking into getting back to these NASA socials, because now if you go to a SpaceX launch, you get to see a launch and a landing all in one right there in like the span of 20 minutes. It's a twofer. It's a 2-for-1. So yeah, I'm kind of gonna be keeping my eye out for that stuff. Maybe 2016 will be the year of the rocket launch. Hoping, they're saying 2016 is going to be the year of the Falcon 9 Heavy. That's kind of the one I was holding out for, but that again has been delayed quite a bit. But I don't know, perhaps with this renewed energy of success and pith and vigor, SpaceX might move that up and get that out there, and hopefully they do something where little old folks like myself can attend and enjoy that as well, because that's going to be a crazy thing to see indeed. Like in that case, I think, but in that case, it pretty much has 3 first stages. It's basically 3 Falcon 9s strapped to each other. Are all 3 going to return? That would be crazy. That would be insane. I could imagine just the central stage would return. But yeah, that would be nuts. Wow. All this stuff like, NASA hasn't even tried returning a rocket like SpaceX just did. And SpaceX just did it, so woo! I'm excited. I just talked an entire Minecraft day about it. I'm clearly excited. And I hope you are too, because that's one of the main topics here that we always talk about in Farlands Bust. SPACE GNUS. Let's go to sleep. Speaking of space, that's a little bit cloudy. Not good for observing. But yeah, I'm going to try to get to some of these questions. I've got my list of questions is now beyond the bounds of my vertically portrait mode monitor here. I've got a scroll bar. So we got to get to those, and we'll do that in the morning. And space news-ness. Stuck the landing. Yeah, let's get to some of these questions. Like I mentioned, Carmen got us to exactly 13,000. Thank you very much, Carmen. And for the tip, perhaps, on taking care, post-tattoo care, I do have a question here from Doc Gratis and daughters Lizzie Busy Bee and EM Star. Doc Gratis might sound familiar because Doc Gratis donated to the very first $820 fundraiser for Child's Play charity way back in June 2011 that we met in like 5 days. Partly thanks to Doc Gratis. Welcome back. Well, I've seen other stuff from you as well, but welcome back to helping us out, get towards the Kurt J. Tat initiative, as well as now your daughters. With all this talk recently of commercial space, hey, theme, what do you think will happen first? Crewed Mars mission, either orbital or boots on Mars or its moons? Chinese crewed lunar mission or commercial moon asteroid mining operations, crewed or robotic. That is actually kind of a tough one. I haven't been keeping up with. I don't know where the Chinese are as far as their plans with crewed space flight. I know they expressed interest in going to the moon. They had landed their rover, I forgot its name already, but on the moon. And they've kind of been doing, I think they put an orbiter around the moon as well to study and stuff like that. There has been some stirrings that perhaps we, the U.S., NASA, could be eyeing a return to the moon as a sort of platform. I don't know if it might have just been, offhand discussion or even just an editorial in that regard. But that would be cool. That would be nice. I would be fully in endorsement of that. But, I don't know. The whole mining stuff, that one company that I've also forgotten the name of, that did something on, they did something on Kickstarter, where if they met their goal, then one of the satellites they would send up would be controlled by the public or whatever. I can't remember, but I think I remember hearing bad news about them, like things weren't going well, or they were losing out on funding, or something like that. I totally forgot, to be honest with you. I don't know. That's a tough one to say. I mean, if Elon has his way, he's going to send the first commercial spacecraft, probably not crewed right away, but the first commercial spacecraft to Mars. So yeah, those are all things that could very well happen, like simultaneously. Maybe not simultaneously, but they'll compete with each other for being the first thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's really tough to consider mining to being very economically viable, because whatever you'd be able to mine and bring back, I don't even know if that would cover the cost of a launch to do so. But that was kind of that company's proposals, that they'd use small, cheap satellites and rockets and things. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we would see first. I mean, even there are some commercial and educational endeavors to bring rovers to the moon. Google has its Lunar X Prize, where there's all these different companies designing rovers for lunar landings. I'm not sure what's become of that. Basically, the moral of the story is I'm not following things closely enough to have a proper answer for you. But yeah, I mean, hopefully all those things, right? That would be great. There is, I think it was recently funded. What am I trying to do here? I was going to make something else. Oh, a piece of bread so I can get my hearts back. That a Europa mission has been initially approved by NASA to start doing the research to say, okay, what kind of a mission shall we go to Europa? So there's funding there for the initial exploratory research to get a mission profile proposal. A lot of people are saying, oh, should we just send an orbiter? Should we send a lander? Should we send a drill? What sort of thing should we be sending to Europa? That's the moon that is covered in ice, but underneath the ice is a liquid ocean of water, liquid water, salty, briny water. It's a moon of Saturn. I believe Cassini just flew. It has the big jets of geysers of this water that are coming through the cracks of the ice that spew off into space. Ow! Well, so much for getting those hearts back. Oh, I'm still all right. This chest piece is going to break, though. So yeah, I mean, that's just been approved. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It is hard to say. But I'll take all of those things, please. And then some, if you don't mind. Let's see here. Alright, it is midday. I'm, like, trying to find if there's any, like, other space to stay on theme, but I'm not. There's so many questions. All the text is bleeding together. Let's talk about... From Jens, or perhaps Jens, maybe? Wolf, is that it, Wolfie? Wolfie said so I'm believing him. Asks, in one of your Twitch live streams, you had a whiskey break, and in the fuzzy background, it appeared like you had a bottle of Ardbeg and Monkey Shoulder. Would you care to do a short review of them? It's been so long that I don't believe I would be able to. Yeah, that was back when it was Whiskey Wednesdays, which like lasted about 2 Wednesdays. I made a little bit of a video looping background for like I'll be right back or we'll start soon, where I like had those bottles in the background or whatever. Yeah, I did get Monkey Shoulder. It was good. I mean, it's a good, more affordable. Better quality than, say, your mass-produced red label or black label Johnny Walker. The Monkey Shoulder, I remember, was a lot more kind of drinkable on the rocks or straight or whatever. Certainly no single malt. And then I had the Ardbeg. I didn't have... You thought I had the Ardbeg Korvreken? I had the Ardbeg... I forgot what I had... but it was something else. That was, I'm trying to remember, that was good. I think, though, that was a little bit more, or am I thinking of, see, I've forgotten already. I'm trying to remember if it was the Ardbeg, or if it was, there was another one that was just really peaty. It was very peaty. It's kind of that, not, what's the word I'm looking for? Just that kind of mossy, grassy, almost not sour, but almost sour taste that certain, depending on where you get your Scotch from, in Scotland, would come from. I tend to prefer the more oaky, sweet, the sherry kind of flavored Scotches over the peaty, earthy ones. I can't remember if that was the Ardbeg. There was another one. I think it was sort of an S, but I can't remember, so I won't. But yeah, that's the way that cookie crumbles. I haven't really been drinking that much lately, at all. It's just the thing. I did have a really good. I went to a restaurant in downtown Phoenix, and I guess I can say it's called. What's it called? Well, I've forgotten what it's called, but I had a really good old-fashioned. Like, they did it well. They didn't have the cherry in. An old-fashioned typically does not have a cherry in it, or at least traditionally. It didn't have a bunch of crushed ice, like some places do. It just had one of those big cube ices, and it just had the slice of orange. It was a very basic, but very well-made, very strong old-fashioned for $9. I would hope it would be. But yeah, I forgot the name of the restaurant already. All right, well, there's a restaurant somewhere in Phoenix that makes a good old-fashioned, my friends, and it's $9. But, yeah. Yeah, that's like the last drink I had, and that was over the weekend, and I can't remember much before that. So, I think that answers your question. Oh, and Jens, as Wolfie told me I should pronounce your name. If not, how about a story involving Eva? Eva is getting very comfortable here. She likes now sleeping on the couches and the bed. And when I tell her it's time to get off the bed, because I would like to get into the bed, she does this thing where she'll start to get up, and then I'm like, okay, you're getting up, and then she'll be like, oh, just kidding, and then gets back down and lays back down. So I've got to remember to try to be pretty consistent and stern with my obedience. Encourage, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean. The commands are the words I'm looking for, so that she doesn't feel like it's going to be a positive thing to disobey. But yeah, that's a recent thing that she's been doing. Went out today December 23rd is today, even though this episode's up on the 24th. Played some Frisbee. It was actually warm out. It's been cool here in Phoenix. Kind of grossly cool and cloudy. Almost Illinoisian cool and cloudy. But today the sun peeked out, I think because rain is coming, so I think we do have a warm front coming through. And went out and played some Frisbee in December, on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, which is a bit of a novelty anyway for somebody from the Midwest. Still, I washed my car the other day. Well, actually, that was earlier December, but yeah, I washed my car in the driveway, which is another crazy thing to consider. I can make a boat, I guess. If I make 2 boats, and then we need some wood in the next episode. And the next episode is going to be after Christmas, so be prepared to regale me with your comments about the awesome things you got for Christmas, if you do the Christmas thing, and if not, that's all right too. Yeah. You know what I want for Christmas? I want a tattoo. So go to farlandserbust.com to donate to Child's Play charity. Just $2,000 more to reach $15,000. And the Kurt J. Tat Initiative will be in full effect. Also, you're helping get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world, as Child's Play charity does. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Now it's